Greetings, it's Rachel from the Simsbury Public Library. Thanks so much for joining us for our first ever Home Hobbies video. You know, we miss you a lot at the library, and so we're working on ways to keep connecting with you. If you haven't already, check us out on our social media on Facebook and Instagram, and of course, check out our website. We've got all kinds of resources that we're trying to bring to you, but we wanted to bring you also some more personal touches, like these videos that we're going to be doing, as well as some live meetups that we're going to have for teens and adults coming up next week. And if you haven't already, check out the stay-at-home story time from the children's room and all sorts of virtual programs for the little ones too. So today I wanted to share with you our Home Hobby series. We're hoping that we can show off some of our talents and hobbies at home to show you what we do off the clock. Hopefully the idea is to give you some ideas of some of the things that you might do at home too. New ways to keep busy, that's the idea. In the library, you might know me from behind the circulation desk upstairs, where I'm the head of borrowing and technical services. But here at home, I'm mostly working remotely and have just become the manager of food and water distribution. I am mostly taking care of my plants at home. My cat Dusty is keeping me great company. He's finding all the sunny spots and enjoying all the new plants that we're trying to grow here. But one of my favorite hobbies is collage art. I thought this might be an interesting thing to share with you because it's very easy to do at home. You really don't need a lot of supplies. You might have some extra, magazines or, cards is hanging around, and of course some glue or even tape you could use. So I wanted to just show you a little bit about my interest in collage and what it's about. Collage is really just the bringing together disparate objects and images and juxtaposing them together. Usually it's two-dimensional, but I like to also incorporate 3D pieces into my collage art. You can see collage has been around since the early 1900s. It really started with Picasso in the Cubism movement. That was really the first example we think of collage art. And then it evolved with some folks like Hannah Hoke in photo montage. And this is where we're assembling pieces now of photography, as well as maybe other sorts of paper objects. So you can see it's becoming more elaborate. And then, of course, it evolved even more in the pop culture movement, and then in the postmodern movement. And then today we see it, of course, in all sorts of things online, like Pinterest is one big collage in a way. And we see vision boards pretty often, design boards putting together, concept styles for your living room, for instance. So there's all kinds, I think, of found object art and photo collage that is all sort of new and modern, but all still collage. So I wanted to give you some examples of some things that I've made. Of course, this is not professional art. This is my, home hobby. And so you can see I like to, go through magazines and cut out things while I'm, watching TV or, just quiet afternoon. It's very relaxing, I think, too, that motion of cutting things out for magazines. It's just very soothing, I think, that scissoring. And so here I like to store up the little pieces and then shape them into new ways once I get to making the piece itself. And you can see some of these objects here are a little bit three-dimensional too. You can incorporate folding of pieces to sort of give them a little bit of lift. I also like to incorporate sometimes little stories and snippets, little excerpts that I find. Harper's Magazine, I find, is very good for that. They have lots of literary snippets and facts and figures. They're quite fun. And here I've incorporated some moss and cork. I also like to find little pieces like that in the woods, for instance, or keep them from, a special wine bottle that I received. And then it's very easy to make your art 3D. And then this one too, I think just so goes to show that your collage art does not need to be logical. It does not need to be orderly. It does not need to resemble anything to anyone else but you. I think that the concept is just really fun to flip through and find different pieces and images and words that are interesting to you, and then to take that peaceful moment and paste them onto the page. Collage art can be very relaxing and very satisfying. So I hope to show you how to get started next. All right, folks, I thought we would start by taking a look at some of the supplies that might be involved in a collage project. As you can see, we've got glue here. I like to use Mod Podge. It's a really great product that you can buy in craft stores, but you might not have that ability right now. So if you maybe have Elmer's glue at home or a glue stick, those are perfectly fine substitutes. There are even some recipes online, in fact, using stuff like cornstarch and white vinegar, very easy household products to be able to make a nice glue recipe homemade. Alternatively, either for decoration or for adhesive properties, you might consider using nail polish. I have a lot of nail polishes that I do not use, and so I often use them in my collage art projects. And then of course you might need some scissors. A good pair of scissors that are comfortable, free to use, go a long way. Because primarily what we use in collage art are cut out pieces of paper. So you can see here I've got several magazines from the library's giveaway pile, where we recently took out some of our older magazines from the collection and we're giving them away to folks. I was able to snag a few that were left over and had some pretty covers. So I like to, in my downtime, go through those magazines, just sort of flip through them. There's lots of cool things to look at, of course, and then I just like to cut stuff out as I'm going along. And we'll take a look at that process too in a little bit later. You'll also see a few other things here on the table that could be used in your art projects. For instance, I like to hold on to notes and cards that people might send, bookmarks. One day I would love to do a project of all the lost and leftover bookmarks that we find in the library. I also similarly, next to the cards, like to keep stamps that I might receive that are kind of interesting. I really like birds, so I had a set of 1-cent stamps that I just held on to for a while. And these I just sort of keep in a Tupperware bag, Ziploc baggie set aside. So it's easy enough to just pull out whenever I'm feeling like it. You'll also see on the table there's some interesting things here, like glitter. I happen to very much like glitter. We have some buttons and beads. We have some shards here of glass that are for plantering filler. But you might have, for instance, a favorite mug or a ceramic piece that broke. And you can utilize those treasured pieces to incorporate them into your art and add some 3D elements into your collage pieces. And lastly, I wanted to show you that you can also incorporate organic matter into your art. I like to save interesting looking leaves, cool little plants that I might get from people, or floral arrangements that were meaningful. And I like to press them. You can very easily do this. It doesn't have to be kept forever. You can do it very low tech by putting them in thick books, and then when they are dried and firm, you can store them between nice dining napkins and in a plastic Ziploc baggie, and they'll actually last quite a while. So next we're going to go ahead and turn into the craft room, and I'll start to show you how to put together some of these projects. Welcome to my craft room. So I'm here just to show you really quick, while you're flipping through magazines, you can find interesting images and words, as I said. And I just wanted to recommend that if you find something you like for instance, this tree here, cut wide. Cut out a little bit larger around the tree. Get as close as you can to the words. Retain most of the image. Even use ripping. You don't have to always do straight edges. This way you can later cut down and trim it any way you like to refine it. I also wanted to show you that it's very easy to store these things that you're finding along the way between paper plates. I stack things up along the way so that I can easily come back to them. And this is also a great way to keep them very flat while you're storing them in between projects. Here, putting together our collage now. So I'm working at a desk where I do other art projects, and I'm okay with a little bit of glue getting on it, some scrap paper and glitter getting everywhere. But if you're working at a kitchen table, your coffee table, you might want to put something down for yourself. But otherwise, here I have a little bit of glue going. I just have a little tub of Mod Podge and a paintbrush. But of course, if you're using a glue stick, you won't need this. And I've got all the little papers that I would like to use, the little elements. I've selected the one that we had cut out earlier, as well as a few things that I've had in my previous collection. And so I will have those nearby. Cute little books here. And I've started to think about what I wanted to do. So I created a canvas background just by, splashing some colors together, adding a little glitter in the corners. But you can use computer paper even to put something together. Or if you want to do a decoupage project, you could even take a box that's pretty sturdy and go ahead and cover that with Mod Podge and your pieces. But I'm doing a regular canvas thing here, and I want to make a heart shape here. So you can go as abstract as you would like, or you can work with a given shape and start to just paste these pieces of paper down to where you think you might want them. And now say I don't like this position that I just put this in. Maybe I actually want to figure out if I can make that the other hump of the heart, if you will. If you work quickly enough, you can totally move it around. And then you can make it more secure and push it down and add more glue when you're really certain of where you want it to go. Okay, after layering all of the pieces that I wanted to, and creating a cut straight edge to make that outline of the heart, I'm pretty satisfied with my collage piece, and so I'm going to call it. It's tempting to keep layering and layering, but I think I have a good outline. I think it's got a nice amount of clutter to it, lots of things to look at, and so maybe I'll start a new piece because I have been enjoying this, so I will keep it going. Well, I hope this was interesting to you, or at least gave you something of an idea of what else you might be able to do at home to keep you and your family entertained and busy. I hope you'll join us next week, too. Next week, you'll find that Zach is going to be teaching us how to juggle. So stay tuned for more from the Simsbury Public Library, and thank you again so much for joining us. We really miss you. Be well and stay home, stay healthy.